Les històries humanitàries sempre són aquelles que ens criden més l'atenció a la nostra societat. Veure com gent de forma completament desinteressada ha fet el que ha estat a la seva abast per protegir animals o diferents espècies sempre és un d'aquells elements a tenir en compte i que generen admiració. És el cas de la persona que ens visita el dia d'avui, natural de Sierra Leone, va decidir que un dia era necessari començar a protegir els ximpanzés, animal que està en perill d'extinció. Avui, a Líders tindrem a Bala Amarasekaran. Benvinguts una nit més a un nou capítol de Líders avui, programa especial perquè avui teníem nosaltres el senyor Bala Amarasekaran. Good night.
Correct. Hola.
Amarasekaran, I don't know.
Amarasekaran is correct. Yes.
It's correct.
Yes.
Today we're going to talk of your work in your country, in Sierra Leone, with the chimpanzees.
Yes.
First of all, I'm going to ask you how your interest for the chimpanzee began.
I will always say it started by an accident. I happened to meet a chimp in need in a faraway community away from the capital city. So I tried to save him. I bring him home, and that's where the interest started. I started taking care of him like my own child in my own house. That is how the bond between me and the chimpanzees started to grow.
You imagine in that days that you're gonna start a sanctuary?
Not at all. No, never thought. But after rescuing the first one, I happened to rescue another one, and with time I have rescued 7 chimpanzees, and they were all living with me in my house. And that is the time I thought, this is not something an individual can do it. You have to do it like a national program. So I speak to the government, and with their help, we started setting up a sanctuary for chimpanzees. So not even in my wildest dream, I thought that I will have a sanctuary one day.
When the need of starting a sanctuary begin?
I think when I started to realize I'm going to save more chimpanzees, then I thought you cannot have all the chimpanzees that you rescue in your house. So you need to find a place, you need to start a program. So this is how Takugama initially set up as an orphanage for rescued animals, but it soon started to develop into a fully fledged conservation program, because you cannot be sitting at the sanctuary saving a few chimps. You need to think about the national, what's happening all over the forest in Sierra Leone. So focus was rescuing some chimps, bring them to the sanctuary to rehabilitate them back to health, also taking care of the chimps that are already in the wild, so that they don't have to come to the sanctuary.
Before we start talking of the sanctuary, which are the dangers that chimpanzees have nowadays?
I think the most important danger is humans, us, we. We are destroying their habitat. Habitat is their home. Chimpanzees live in forest. So once we start destroying habitats for many uses, whether it's for agriculture, sometimes mining sector, sometimes people are just cutting it down for charcoal and wood and all that. So all this contribute towards their homes going. That means the number one cause is caused by humans. Then also a lot of hunting pressure. People go, bushmeat problems are there. I think a lot of problems they are facing, not just the chimpanzees. Every animal, every environment across the world, we are going through a very bad patch at the moment.
It's the forbid hunting another problem of the chimpanzees, or not at all?
Well, the laws are there. It's prohibited, you cannot hunt, but then they are not effective. These are just on paper. But in terms to actually implementing the law is getting more and more difficult. This is why 5 years ago, Takugama, we decided that we need to do something more than just the law enforcement. So what we did was we started a campaign, and we got the chimpanzee as Sierra Leone's national animal. That means you can raise the laws to match that, at the same time also create a relationship between humans and the animal. Before it was just a monkey that the wildlife department or law enforcement agencies will tell you, don't kill it, if you kill it we'll lock you up and this and that. But it's not working. So we said, okay, let's do something get a lot of information about the chimpanzee to the people and make them understand why they are so important to be in our forest. And chimpanzees are almost 98.7% genetically similar to a human. And you cannot be killing and eating such an animal. So all this came into government declaring the chimpanzee as Sierra Leone's national animal. And that is the first time in the world. And that's a very proud moment. At least we were able to do that. And with that, now we are seeing a lot more synergy between people and the animal.
Since you mentioned it, I want to ask you how important is that the Sierra Leone, the chimpanzee is a national animal. Yeah. Which are all the good things of becoming the national animal in Sierra Leone?
I think if you look at chimpanzee is a flagship species. So if you take across the country, chimpanzees are living in tropical forest and woodland areas. And they take care of the health of that environment, that ecosystem. Chimpanzees are large apes and they go around, they litter a lot of seeds. They go and they litter it everywhere across the forest, and when the rain comes, all the forest grows again. So they are doing a big ecosystem services for us. And at the same time, there's something to learn from them. They're very resilient, they're very intelligent, they have all the similarities like a human. They feel love, jealousy, anger, everything is like a human. And it is very important for people to feel that it's such an important species. And for Sierra Leone, that chimpanzees, the western chimpanzee that is found in Sierra Leone, it is the most endangered species amongst all the chimpanzee. There are 4 species, subspecies. Out of that, western chimpanzee is the most endangered, according to the International Union for Conservation of Nature. And Sierra Leone has the second largest population of these chimpanzees. There are just about 5,000–6,000 in Sierra Leone. And it becomes our heritage to make sure that this needs to be protected. So we are trying to keep sending these messages to people to see how important they are in our system.
If we talk about your sanctuary,
yes,
which challenges you have to overcome to start it?
First is convince the government that we need to take care of these species. Because when you have a third world country with a lot of human problems, conservation is not priority. People are worried about bread and butter on their table the next day. And you're talking about saving another species. So that is a big problem. But then you work very closely with the government, change their mindset, and make them understand how chimpanzees can contribute. Now, it started as a small orphanage. Now, if you go to Sierra Leone and if you search for Sierra Leone, what comes up first is Takugama Chimpanzee Sanctuary. That means we have brought this orphanage into Sierra Leone's #1 ecotourism destination. That means it's providing employment, it's providing trade. We are doing a lot of opportunities for artisans and arts and craft makers to come and contribute towards producing things that we can sell. Other businesses are following that example, and we are trying to see how we can create some commerce around the national animal symbol. So these are some of the ways we are trying to make the people understand that chimpanzee is important. Our national animal is important for Sierra Leone. It's a pride for us to have chimpanzee as our national animal. So they contribute in many ways.
The sanctuary changes the people's mind of the importance of the chimpanzees?
I think so, because before we declared the chimpanzee as the national animal, we only had tourists visiting Takugama. We had maybe 80% foreigners visiting, maybe 20% Sierra Leoneans coming to see. After declaring and working so hard to get the information across, now we have maybe 80–85% Sierra Leoneans coming there and only 10–15% tourists. So that itself is a success. People beginning to understand that we need to go and support this place. We need to understand more about the national animal, why government has declared it as a national animal. So I think in that way, I think we are having some success.
How Takugama have changed since the beginning until this day?
I think when you started the sanctuary, we were there to look at the symptom of the problem, that is orphan chimpanzees. After their habitats are cleaned up, when their mothers are shot or trapped, the baby chimpanzees are brought to the sanctuary. So it started like an orphanage, a place, a safe place for them. But with time, you realize that you have to look at the root causes of the problem. The problems are in the forest, not at the sanctuary. The chimpanzee that is coming to the sanctuary is the byproduct, it's the results of the carnage, the problem that happens in the forest. So because of that, we have to develop programs. So at the moment, Takugama has grown into several sections we undertake in terms of education, advocacy, campaigns, research, livelihood projects, because we live in a poor country where you cannot only talk about chimpanzees and wildlife. How about the people? People are struggling. People are poor, a lot of people. So anything we do, we have to run in parallel with people. So if you're asking people to go and not to destroy this forest, not to kill this animal, you also have to do something for the people. So all our programs are running in a way, a percentage of the project goes to the people. So that we build schools, we do a lot of education work, we do a lot of agricultural input into these communities. We provide wash products, that means we provide water and sanitation for these communities. So in return, we tell them you're getting all this because you're protecting the chimpanzee in your forest. So that is how the project has been growing over the years.
Which is the future that you will like for Takugama?
I think the future will be having the right connection. Like I'm here because of Amigos Takugama in Barcelona, because that's the future, because we live in a global village now. Whatever we do over there and protecting the environment is also helping you here, because here most of the forest is gone. We still have. And if you're talking about the climate change and environment, we need to think more globally. So what we need is, the future is more people from the outside also connect with our work and understand and value what we do in a faraway corner in Africa, but it's contributing in some way for the environment. I think the future is more collaboration, more partnerships, and to see how we can all work together.
This is what you are doing right now in your trip here in Europe?
It is correct, yes. I've been to, this city is probably the most favorite city of mine when I travel around Barcelona. The people are known for their hospitality, and I have made some huge, big friends like Senator Josep Maldonado, Premier Fortune of Luxembourg. So a few people, Dr. Rosa Garriga, a famous vet who came and worked in Takugama for 5 years. She's from Barcelona. So a few people who have come into my life over the years have made, some sort of a very clear connection to this city. And I'm very happy I could come here and talk about it.
Do you also look here for help of some kind of like administrations, governments, etc.?
I think it's possible. That is why we set up the Amigos Takugama here. This is also to see how we can generate support, either individually or sometimes through the government. But that is why it's important to create that awareness. The TV station, the interview you're doing now, it's all part of that, so that we get some recognition in terms of what we do, because publicity is very important to sustain our work.
We talk a little bit of the chimps in Sierra Leone, but I want to talk a little bit more of the situation itself of,
yes,
of the people,
yeah,
because you work a lot with the animals, but you also work for the human rights. For start, what's the situation of the people in Sierra Leone right now?
I think things are difficult. It's also a country, as much as they are trying to sustain by itself, but it's difficult. It is a donor-driven economy. You get a lot of donation from development partners, UN agencies, money come in. On their own, they will struggle. So when you depend on so much of funding from the outside, at the moment, we had a huge problem with the USAID. The US government cut off all the USAID programs, and that is affecting in many sectors in Sierra Leone at the moment, especially the health sector. Health sector is struggling a lot with that, all the funding from America going away. Even as Takugama, about 3 of our projects are suffering because of that, because the aid was cut off. We work in 2 national parks where we were depending on that funding. So we are going through difficult times in terms of governmental support. And as for the government, they have so many human problems. So they don't have enough money for conservation. So for us, it left to individuals like us to go around, campaign, and find some resources and bring it back so that nature also can benefit at this time.
We know a lot of Sierra Leone because of the wars
Yes.
that happened there.
Yeah.
Most of them for diamonds.
Correct.
You also were there and you work a little bit uniting the chimpanzees in the human rights in these wars. Can you tell me a little bit what you did in that days?
I think, yeah, I was there throughout the war. I survived the war. And this is why when people talk about Sierra Leone and the diamond, for a foreigner, when you hear about diamond, you can only remember the film Blood Diamond. I think many people would have seen that film. That was based on a true story from Sierra Leone. What we have done is the National Tourist Board had the diamond as the emblem because that's what Sierra Leone was known for. But my argument with the government but the diamond didn't help Sierra Leoneans. It only helped the war. It'll help people to enrich themselves, but the masses didn't benefit. So 5 years ago, we got the emblem changed to chimpanzee. Chimpanzee is the face of tourism, not diamond anymore. So this is some small contribution from Takugama. But yes, the war painted a bad picture, but Sierra Leone is a beautiful country. The people are so friendly, hospitable. I'm beginning to see a lot of Spanish tourists coming there now. So that's a good start to know that it's not bad. Everything, yes, sometimes the media paints a bad picture, then it remains for a long time. So you need to get some good, fresh stories out of Sierra Leone. And Takugama is constantly putting out some promising new stories. And I think through that, people will get to know Sierra Leone. So I would like to forget about the war and move on with what is new.
And move forward.
Yes.
How you're still working nowadays in the human rights of the people of Sierra Leone?
Yes, because as an individual, if you are going to fight for chimps, you need to have the height for your people. You have your family, they are humans, they are not chimps. So it's the same kind of rights. We are any kind of human right activity happen in Sierra Leone, Takugama is always supportive because we feel if we have the heart to fight for chimps, we should even have more affection towards protecting people.
To ending the interview,
yes,
I'm going to ask you first, how is the work of the volunteers that come to Sierra Leone, come to Takugama and make this kind of work without gaining everything in money?
Yeah.
But how is this work in Takugama?
It's huge contribution. We value the volunteer work a lot. We were blessed to have a lot of people coming from Catalonia coming to volunteer at Takugama. And they come with a lot of skills. And creating that human capital is so important. So you can only get that from volunteers because we cannot afford to hire consultants at very high fee because we are a small program trying to survive. But the volunteers come in, they come with skills, knowledge, love, affection, and it brings a new spirit into my staff. They feel that people from places like Catalonia are coming all the way. Even the Sierra Leoneans begin to feel, well, we are doing something good. If people from here can go and recognize our work and they are coming to volunteer without getting any salary or anything like that, that itself boosts the morale of my staff. The staff feel elated, they feel happy that foreigners are coming to work with us because we are doing something good. We are doing something good for the chimpanzees. We are doing something good for the environment. So it's a win-win for everybody.
Finally, when you look back at the time when you began your work with the chimps, when you start the sanctuary and how it's going in the present, how did you feel?
I feel happy that we have managed to, because we had a million reasons to quit because of the war, we had a lot of health problems, Ebola, Corona, everything went through, but you survive one by one and you're at a point where you feel that you brought the sanctuary for 30 years. I'm here as part of the 30th anniversary. And the Friends of Takugama in Barcelona, especially Senator Josep Maldonado, they are putting together a nice event on the 6th in Barcelona. It's a fundraising dinner. And I mean, when you look back, the recognition is there. It's very important that for us to continue, the recognition is needed. But I don't think I would have done something else. I don't think anything else would have made me a lot more happier that I'm sitting in a place, at least I can look back and say, I haven't wasted 30 years. I have somehow contributed.
Have you ever imagined that you will be here right now?
No, I don't think so. This is not something you plan. It happens.
Well, so Mr. Bala, I want to thank you to come here and explain all the work that you are doing with the contribution of the volunteers, with the contribution of people of your country in the save and maintain the chimps because they are in danger. And thank you to be here with us and explaining this kind of stuff.
Well, it's a pleasure and I'm very happy and what can I say? Thank you to all Catalans and I'm very happy here. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
També a vosaltres moltes gràcies per escoltar-nos en el dia d'avui. Recordeu, podeu recuperar aquest espai a la nostra web i també a les nostres xarxes. Tornarem la setmana que ve aquí, a ETV-TERRAMAR, a un nou capítol del Líders.